Hello you all, welcome to Oliveboard. So my name is Lakshmi and I am here to discuss a very important topic of your syllabus, that is social justice. So in this very discussion we'll only focus on elderly. What I'll do is all the schemes that are important for that you must cover, that is related to your senior citizen. Also, we'll cover some of the important reports that were there in news recently, specifically on elderly people. So that is what we are going to do in this very session. I hope I am audible as well as visible. Please first confirm if I am audible and visible. I will then begin with the session further. Could you please confirm once? Okay guys, so after this session, if any question comes on your this elderly people, you will be able to attempt it. That's my promise, because in this very session we'll start our discussion with the basic introduction about elderly people. So let's begin. Guys, for the PDF you can download the app, and on the app on these YouTube classes you can get the PDF. Next thing is regarding the syllabus. Where is this social justice word mentioned? I hope you have gone through the syllabus. So this is the very last topic of your syllabus, social justice. So that's where we are going to begin. First thing first, why I am taking this topic is, in the month of February, Niti Aayog released a research paper, or you can say a progress paper, a type of a report you can say. It was titled Senior Care Reforms in India. Certainly, RBI also asks questions which are related to the reports that were there in news. Last year it asked a question on climate change. This year it might ask on senior citizens as well. So we are beginning the topic with senior citizens today. So the report highlighted, and even various United Nations body also said that in India we are experiencing an exponential growth in the number of elderly people. Why? See, we have the highest number of population. India is the most populated country as of now. जब population इतनी ज़्यादा है, definitely all the people will get to age. Once they'll age, the elderly people growth will be exponentially. That means the number of elderly people which will be there in India, the growth is exponential. Also, fertility rates are dropping. Fertility rate is now below the replacement level. The replacement level suggests the replacement level is 2.1. Fertility rate is even below that. Apart from that, life expectancy is increasing. The number of years a person was living, some years back, and now it has there has been seen a drastic increase in the life expectancy. In the year 1947, in the year 1950, when just India got independent, at that time the life expectancy was roughly 35-36 years. But now it's close to 70 years. So you can just see that life expectancy has increased a lot, and that's why we have witnessed an exponential growth in the number of people. We'll experience this exponential growth in the number of people who are in the age bracket of elderly people. Next thing, United Nations Population Fund also said that elderly population in India, as of now, it's roughly 10% of the total population, but by the year 2050, this demography will expand to 19.5%, almost double of what it is now. Therefore, it's high time that we focus on the senior care, as well, on the elderly people. Now, what is the problem? What is the present problem? What are the various challenges? So, the first problem or the first challenge is related to health. I hope you are able to see what is written on the screen. So, the first problem is health. In the physical health parameter, elderly people, I hope you all know, they suffer from one or the other diseases. Your elderly people suffer from chronic diseases. 75% of people are suffering from one or the other chronic diseases who are elderly. That's normal, right? 40% are disabled. Now see, if they are not physically well, what about their emotional well-being? Next thing, their mental health. Not even in the physical portion, but also their mental health is at stake. Why? Because 20% of the elderly people, they face one or the other mental health situation. Again a problem, again a challenge that has to be addressed. Another challenge is less or you can say a bleak amount of health insurance coverage that is there. The health insurance coverage is very less. Now, why do you need a health insurance? See, those old age people may not be able to, find appropriate financial, they may not be in a appropriate financial position, and because of that, they might need a stronger health insurance cover, but that is lacking. Only 18% of health insurance cover is being held by your elderly people. So that is also one thing that government has to look into. Next thing is social. Labendu, are you talking about these sessions or the one I am taking on the app? See guys, YouTube पे बहुत ज़्यादा समय नहीं बचता है. I do not get much time to have to have my presence on YouTube a lot. But whatever presence I have on YouTube, I try to cover the topic in such a way that if at all there is a descriptive question, you are able to attempt it. So that's my approach. After health comes your social issue. So in your social part, what are the problems or what are the challenges which are being felt by the elderly? The most important challenge is their dependency ratio. The number of people who will be dependent or who are dependent on the young population, on the demographic dividend that we have, wo dependency population is huge, 62 per 100 working age population. So they are dependent population. Dependent population kya hoti hai? Those who are less than 15 years because they will not be able to earn, and those who are more than 60 years. You can say these population is dependent क्योंकि ये खुद earn नहीं करती है, they depend on working age population. तो अगर dependency in population will rise क्यों करेगी? Life expectancy बढ़ रही है. तो अगर dependency बढ़ रही है, इसका मतलब social problems will arise. Next thing, now 70% of your aged people live in the rural areas. अब जब वो rural area में रहेंगे, और रूरल एरिया में क्या सही में जेरियाटिक केयर है? जेरियाटिक केयर सिंपली मीन्स द केयर दैट इज गिवन टू योर सीनियर सिटीजन. एल्डरली पीपल को जो केयर दी जाती है, क्या वो है? दैट इज ऑल्सो लैकिंग. नेक्स्ट थिंग, फूड इनसिक्योरिटी. 6% ईट स्मॉल पोर्शन, दे आर स्किपिंग देयर मील्स. At that age, when they need nutrition, when their muscle need protein, they are skipping their meals, and so is also the healthy nutrients they are not getting those nutrients. So again, this will lead to health problems. Lastly, economic issues. See, they are aged now, they may not be able to work. That's why they are dependent on pension. The report said that only 78% people do not have any source of pension. So again, if they do not have any source of pension, how will they be able to lead their life once they turn 60 years? Because after 60, most of the officers retire the people. तो वो कैसे रहेंगे? Who will bear their financial burden? Another thing. For elderly empowerment, what does the report suggested? Report ने क्या कहा? क्या करना चाहिए? For the health portion, the report suggested that we should try to strengthen the geriatric healthcare segment. The geriatric healthcare segment needs to be strengthened. How can we do that? We can do that by creating awareness, by creating training program among the present technicians, nursing, and other people around. Next thing is comprehensive insurance coverage specifically for elderly people has to be given. Apart from that, capacity building of the present workforce. Regarding the social area development, social empowerment can be done if these elderly people know what are their legal rights, what kind of welfare schemes they can avail. Like if I tell you in the state of Assam, if a person is not taking care of his or her elderly parents, he will not get a job. That is how Assam government said. तो ये awareness फैलानी पड़ेगी amongst these elderly people, so that they get to know what are their powers. Next thing, we need to have a very strengthened welfare and maintenance act. जो भी बच्चे अपने पेरेंट्स को घर से बाहर निकाल देते हैं वो कहाँ जाएंगे, उसके लिए एक बहुत ही रिजिड वेलफेयर मेंटेनेंस एक्ट की जरूरत है, एज सजेस्टेड बाय योर नीति आयोग्स रिपोर्ट. देन फॉर इकोनॉमिक एंगल, financial independence is what we should seek for them as well. Silver economy needs to be promoted. Silver economy means economy which is there for elderly people. Next thing, reverse mortgage mechanism should be there. Apart from this, GST reforms has to be there. With respect to digital, see, nowadays if you are not digitally empowered, you are missing out a lot. So that's why their digital empowerment is also necessary. For them, affordability and digital literacy should be looked after. So now let's see what is Government of India doing. In this regard, we'll talk about various schemes that are there for your elderly people. In this very thing, we'll only talk about those schemes which are important with respect to your old age people. So let's begin. First and very important scheme, which is an umbrella scheme which covers each and every major scheme for elderly. It is covered under this Atal Vyay Abhyuday Yojana. Basically, there is a national action plan for senior citizens. According to that national action plan, this scheme was being rolled out. It was launched in the year 2021. It's a centrally sponsored scheme. It is of Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment. With respect to the implementation part, Senior Citizens Division of the Department of Social Justice, National Institute of Social Defence, these are the two departments that are looking after the implementation of this scheme. Objective is manifold. All the objectives which were raised by your National Action Plan, they are the objective, like they look after your health, happiness, empowerment, dignified life. That is what the major objective is. With respect to the component, each and every domain of the elderly people's life is being dealt with, like shelter, nutrition, Rashtriya Vyashri Yojana, livelihood, national helpline is also there, silver economy is promoted, and channelization of CSR funds for the elderly. Let's dive into each one of them. Let's see what is there in each one of them. I hope you are able to see this. So in the very first thing, what they are talking about, shelter and health. Let's see shelter and health mein what they are talking about. So in shelter and health, they talked about integrated program for senior citizens where they are provided with basic amenities. Apart from this, there are various state action plans for senior citizens. जैसे मैंने अभी आपको असम के लिए बताया, असम में उन बच्चों को जॉब नहीं मिलेगी जिनके पेरेंट्स वो घर से निकाल देते हैं, they are not looking after their parents. So in this also, recognition is given to senior citizens to contribute and thereby feel useful in the society. Apart from this, maintenance of mobile Medicare units, because senior citizens हो सकता है कि खुद से नहीं जा पाए अपने hospital visits के लिए, so therefore mobile Medicare units are there. Minimum 400 senior citizens per month they have to look after. Apart from this, physiotherapy clinics were being established and a pool of trained caregivers, geriatric care was what was being focused upon. All these things are being done by your National Institute of Social Defence, as I have already told you. Next thing, पोषण अभियान फॉर द एल्डरलीज. एल्डरली के लिए स्पेसिफिकली 10,000 ग्राम पंचायत को आइडेंटिफाई किया गया और वहाँ पे उन सभी ग्राम पंचायत में स्पेसिफिकली पोषण अभियान होता है फॉर एल्डर पीपल. Apart from this, Anganwadi centers were being created as a daycare center. Next, daily allowance of ₹20 per destitute elder would be released directly into the account of Gram Panchayat. So directly into the account of Gram Panchayat, this daily allowance of ₹20 will be made. So this is with regard to your nutrition support. I hope you got that. When I am saying Poshan Abhiyan, definitely nutrition security is what was being looked after. तो हमने सीनियर सिटीजन्स की हेल्थ के हाउस होल्ड शेल्टर के लिए देख लिया, उनकी न्यूट्रिशनल रिक्वायरमेंट को पूरा कर दिया. नेक्स्ट थिंग इज लाइवलीहुड रिक्वायरमेंट या फिर उनका स्किलिंग. फॉर दैट, टू अटेन अ फाइनेंशियल असिस्टेंस, सेल्फ हेल्प ग्रुप्स विल फंक्शन एज एक्शन ग्रुप एम्ड एट सोशल रिकंस्ट्रक्शन, AGRASR ग्रुप्स. रिमेंबर दिस, उल्टा भी पूछा जा सकता है. व्हाट आर दीज ग्रुप्स? These groups are specifically your SHGs which are focusing on the elderly people. तो इन ग्रुप्स को दे रिसीव अमाउंट ऑफ ₹50,000 in 2 installment every year for the first 5 years, ताकि ये अपने आप को strengthen कर सके for providing help to these elderly people. Next thing is IT portal is also developed for those who are seeking employment. An amount of rupees 10 crore would be provided for funding the platform development along with maintenance grant of rupees 2 crores per year for 5 years for its maintenance. So this is the amount of money that is given for IT support. Because हमने बोला ना हमें उन्हें digitally empower करना है, तो digital empowerment के लिए this portal will be created. Next thing. Next we read about silver economy. तो सिल्वर इकोनॉमी को प्रमोट करने के लिए देयर इज एन इनिशिएटिव विच इज सेज इनिशिएटिव. अब ये सेज इनिशिएटिव के अंदर कर क्या रहे हैं, ये भी 2021 में ही आया था एंड इट इज ऑल्सो अंडर योर अटल अभ्युदय योजना ओनली. इट इज देयर टू हेल्प पीपल, टू हेल्प द एल्डरली हु आर इंटरेस्टेड इन एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप इन द फील्ड ऑफ प्रोवाइडिंग सर्विसेज फॉर द एल्डरली केयर. तो जो एल्डरली केयर को सर्विसेज प्रोवाइड करने के लिए दिस स्पेसिफिक प्रोविजन इज देयर. फंडिंग ऑफ रुपीज 1 करोड़ इज गिवन एज अ वन टाइम इक्विटी टू. देखो क्या होता है, जो स्टार्टअप्स होते हैं जो स्पेसिफिकली एल्डरली पीपल के लिए काम करते हैं, तो अगर आपके पास ऐसा स्टार्टअप है जो एल्डरली लोगों के लिए काम करता है, आप उस स्टार्टअप को गवर्नमेंट को पिच कर सकते हो. मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ सोशल जस्टिस एंड एम्पावरमेंट के पास एक पोर्टल है, वहां जाओ, पिच करो. गवर्नमेंट को आपका अगर आइडिया पसंद आ गया तो गवर्नमेंट आपकी कंपनी में वन टाइम 1 करोड़ की इक्विटी ले लेगी. यू विल गेट 1 करोड़ एज फंड. आप उसको यूज करके अपने स्टार्टअप को और बड़ा कर सकते हो. So Sage portal will be there, which is a one-stop access center, जहाँ पे जितनी भी elderly related services होती है, you can find over there. तो elder भी यहाँ पे जाके अपने लिए सर्विस ढूंढ सकते हैं. और अगर आपका ऐसा स्टार्टअप है, you have an idea, pitch it, government will give you funding. Apart from this, as I have told you, इसमें एक और पैरामीटर था आपका अटल अभ्युदय योजना में, where they were focusing on providing CSR funding. तो मोबिलाइज करेंगे वो 5,000 करोड़ को over the next 5 years फ्रॉम द CSR फंड्स. और ये CSR फंड स्पेसिफिकली वो मोबिलाइज कर रहे हैं टूवर्ड्स एल्डर केयर एंड एल्डरली रिलेटेड अदर थिंग्स. द फंडिंग टू द आइडेंटिफाइड एजेंसी विल बी 5% ऑफ द CSR फंड्स. तो CSR फंड्स का जितना भी CSR फंड होगा उसमें से 5% विल बी स्पेसिफिकली गोइंग फॉर द एल्डरली पीपल फॉर द नेक्स्ट 5 years. That is what was suggested. One more scheme which is also under Atal Yojana, a sub scheme, is राष्ट्रीय व्योश्री योजना. ये स्कीम तो पहले आ गई थी, बट बाद में जब अटल व्योश्री योजना आई तो उसके अंदर ही इसको क्लब कर दिया. सो दिस वाज लॉन्च इन द ईयर 2017 अगेन बाय मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ सोशल जस्टिस एंड एम्पावरमेंट. बट एक चीज याद रखना, इट इज इम्प्लीमेंटेड बाय एलिम्को, आर्टिफिशियल लिम्स मैन्युफैक्चरिंग कॉर्पोरेशन. इट्स अ सेंट्रल सेक्टर स्कीम विच इज फंडेड बाय सीनियर सिटीजन्स वेलफेयर फंड. योर सीनियर सिटीजन्स वेलफेयर फंड वॉज क्रिएटेड इन द ईयर 2016, 1 year बिफोर दिस. इसमें पैसा कहाँ से आता है? इस फंड में गवर्नमेंट पैसा डालती है? नहीं. जब भी किसी का पैसा पीपीएफ अकाउंट या फिर स्मॉल सेविंग अकाउंट या आपके ईपीएफ में अनक्लेम्ड डिपॉजिट रहता है, दैट अनक्लेम्ड डिपॉजिट गोज टू दिस फंड, दैट इज सीनियर सिटीजन्स वेलफेयर फंड. सो इस फंड से पैसा लेकर इस एलिम्को इज एक्चुअली यूजिंग दिस फंड किस चीज़ के लिए? टू प्रोवाइड बेसिक मेडिकल डिवाइसेस टू एल्डरली पीपल. तो अब डिवाइसेस जो हियरिंग एड हो सकता है वो, या हो सकता है किसी को कोई लाठी चाहिए, या इस तरह के जो भी इक्विपमेंट जो बेसिक डिवाइसेस होते हैं, अगर किसी एल्डरली को चाहिए तो दे विल गेट दैट. कितने कॉस्ट तक के डिवाइसेस अवेलेबल है? देन मैक्सिमम कॉस्ट पर बेनिफिशियरी इज देयर, दैट इज फॉर जेनेरिक डिवाइसेस 15,000, फॉर स्पेशल डिवाइसेस 20,000. मॉनिटरिंग और इवैल्यूएशन के लिए, इस पूरी स्कीम के मॉनिटरिंग और इवैल्यूएशन के लिए 5% एक्सपेंसेस विल बी देयर और एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन के लिए 10%. क्या सारे सीनियर सिटीजन्स को हेल्प मिलेगी? तो नहीं, सबको नहीं मिलेगी. ओनली दो सीनियर सिटीजन्स हु आर बिलो पॉवर्टी लाइन. अब बिलो पॉवर्टी लाइन का क्या मतलब है? जिनकी फैमिली इनकम इज इक्वल टू और लेस देन 15,000 पर मंथ. अगर ऐसा है देन दे विल गेट द बेनिफिट. बेसिकली क्या करेंगे? फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट जो डिवाइसेस हैं वो प्रोवाइड करेंगे. इन एनी स्टेट आउट ऑफ द टोटल नंबर ऑफ बेनिफिशियरीज 30% शैल बी विमेन. अगेन एन इंपॉर्टेंट फीचर, रिमेंबर दिस. इट इज बीइंग एक्सपेक्टेड कि ये 5 लाख सीनियर सिटीजन्स की हेल्प करेगा. सो एन इंपॉर्टेंट स्कीम. रिगार्डिंग द कंक्लूजन पार्ट, सी हमने ये देखा कि डेटा क्या है. इंट्रोडक्शन पोर्शन, आप जो मैंने फर्स्ट स्लाइड कवर की थी, आप इंट्रोडक्शन पोर्शन वहाँ से कवर कर सकते हो. फ्रॉम हेयर अगर कोई क्वेश्चन आता है तो दिस कैन बी अ गुड इंट्रोडक्शन पार्ट. उसके बाद हमने चैलेंजेस देखे थे, आई होप यू रिमेंबर दैट. आफ्टर दैट वी ऑल्सो लुक्ड फॉरवर्ड टू द एल्डरली, किस तरह से एम्पावर किया जाता है. फिर हमने ये भी देखा कि इस एम्पावरमेंट के अलावा गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया अभी क्या कर रही है, तो हमने एल्डरली रिलेटेड वॉट एवर स्कीम्स वर देयर, दैट ऑल्सो वी हैव लुक्ड इनटू. लास्टली लेट्स सी व्हाट इज द कंक्लूजन. अगर कंक्लूजन आया तो क्या लिखोगे? देखो, कंक्लूजन आया तो आप वैसे तो अपने हिसाब से कंक्लूड कर सकते हो, बट यू कैन ऑल्सो कंक्लूड इट बाय सेइंग दैट यूनाइटेड नेशंस जनरल असेंबली डिक्लेयर्ड कि ये जो डेकेड है, द डेकेड फ्रॉम 2021 to 2030, दिस डेकेड, it is a decade of healthy aging. It is a decade of healthy aging, so it becomes imperative for India as well to look forward towards these elderly people. तो इसके लिए not only government, even the civil societies, international organizations, professionals, each one of us should actually work towards it. क्योंकि after all CSR funding अगर इस जगह पे जाएगी, अगर senior care के लिए CSR funding दी जाएगी, then also society will be uplifted. Apart from that, सीनियर सिटीजन्स जो है सिर्फ एक बर्डन नहीं है, उनको बर्डन की तरह मत देखो. वी कैन यूज देयर इनवैल्यूएबल कॉन्ट्रीब्यूशंस बिकॉज दे हैव लेड अ लाइफ, 60 years ऑफ देयर लाइफ दे हैव दैट हैव पास्ड. तो उनके पास बहुत एक्सपीरियंस है, दे हैव सम इनवैल्यूएबल कॉन्ट्रीब्यूशंस इन द सोसाइटी दैट कैन बी यूज्ड बाय अस टू फॉर द अपलिफ्टमेंट एंड द ग्रोथ ऑफ द नेशन. सो दैट्स हाउ यू कैन जस्ट एंड इट. एंड नाउ दिस इज एन होमवर्क क्वेश्चन फॉर यू. सिंस गाइज मैंने इससे रिलेटेड सब कुछ क्लास में ऑलरेडी कवर कर लिया है, आई एक्सपेक्ट दैट यू कैन एटलीस्ट ट्राई टू राइट द आंसर ऑन दिस वेरी क्वेश्चन. 600 words answer if you will be able to write. I'll be really happy. That's all from my side. If you have any query, you can ask me, or otherwise let's meet again at 7 PM for the daily YT sessions. Thank you. Have a nice day.